My DGen family, what's going on, guys? What is going on? We have a fantastic day ahead of us today, guys. Lots of good news to get through. Let's talk about it. How's everybody doing? Yes, the rumors are true. Gary Gensler has officially tendered his resignation effective January 20th. We're going to get into it a little bit later, guys, so make sure you stick around for that. JASMY right now back up over the 50-day or the 30-day and the 100-day SMAs, climbing its way back up. Very bullish to see that, guys. Waiting for that break. And Bitcoin absolutely smashing it. Another new all-time high today. Look at that, guys. Just a hair below the golden pocket zone there that we've laid out between 98,600 and $100,000. Can we get up inside of the golden pocket today, guys? I guess we'll find out. Very bullish, guys. Very exciting stuff. We're pushing. We're going to make another new all-time high live on stream today. It's the crypto future live stream effect, baby, right? And in fact, I think we just did. We just hit 98,635. We are entering the golden pocket zone, baby. We're going to stay on top of it while we're streaming. So, guys, leave your questions, comments, concerns in the chat. I will get to the chat the second half of the stream. And let's get into some of the news in the meantime. Look at the market. Let's go across the crypto bubbles. Boom. Looking juicy, guys. Market is pumping on. As soon as Gary Gensler tweeted out he was resigning, the market started going crazy. Now, I'm not trying to say the market's pumping because Gary resigned. It's more realistic to say that the market is pumping because crypto futures live streaming, right? I mean, come on. Let's call it what it is here, guys. Let's call it what it is, right? JASMY up 4.2%, working its way back up to that $1 billion market cap. Should get there really, really soon, in short order anyways. Miri is pumping. XRP is having itself a grand old time. XRP celebrating the most with Gary Gensler's resignation. And then we look across the XRP ecosystem. Corium is pumping as well. Flare's starting to turn around, 4% up, but Corium's up 51.4%. Corium has had itself a fantastic month so far. 146% up on the week for Corium. Love to see that. So, so Optimism up 25%, Arbitrum up, Velodrome, Casper. Everything's looking good, guys. Everything is looking good. Exciting stuff. All right, let's get into some of the news, guys. We'll get into the news, and then we'll get into the chat, just like we always do. U.S. Senator Cynthia Lummis encourages the U.S. government to sell gold reserves for Bitcoin.
Is the proposal that I have and that President Trump has discussed about a strategic Bitcoin reserve or strategic Bitcoin stockpile, where the United States would acquire and hold Bitcoin for 20 years. Because of the way that Bitcoin has been appreciating since inception, this would be an asset that could help shore up the US dollar as the world reserve currency and serve as a reserve that could be used to reduce the national debt significantly. You know, the American people are still hurting from inflation, from high prices, and they want the national debt reduced. These are ways to do it with an asset that is immutable, can easily be held by the federal government in a variety of vaults, and that states can participate in as well. So this is the gold standard digital asset, and a strategic Bitcoin reserve is the way to embed it.
You know, we got off the gold standard a long time ago. My question is how much you would spend tax dollars at a time when we're talking about trying to reduce costs. How much would you spend on Bitcoin as part of this reserve?
We wouldn't have to spend any new dollars. We have reserves at our 12 Federal Reserve banks, including gold certificates that could be converted to current fair market value. They're held at their 1970s value on the books, and then sell them into Bitcoin. That way, we wouldn't have to use any new dollars in order to establish this reserve. The United States already holds over 200,000 Bitcoin in the asset forfeiture funds. So that would be the initial source of Bitcoin. So no new money spent on this reserve.
So there's two options here, guys. Now she's laying out selling some of the gold reserve to buy Bitcoin. Anthony Pompliano suggested yesterday that they just print off $250 billion and just use that to buy Bitcoin, right? So, I mean, I don't know, maybe which one do you guys think would be the better option? Selling gold to buy Bitcoin, printing off $250 billion to buy more Bitcoin, or maybe some combination of the both of each of them? Let me know what you guys think about that. Very interesting either way, guys. All right, so people asking me, when is altcoin season? Let's check this clip out from Blockchain Backer, guys.
At the very end of December is the total market cap of crypto. This is it finally being able to escape out of the high. It gets through the high right there. It definitively breaks right there. But that's the first daily candle to get through and take out the high from back in 2018. Right? The 2017 bull run peaks there at the beginning of January 2018. Here's where the altcoin market was at that time. Way down here. Here's Bitcoin way up here. And it's hard to believe at these moments, Bitcoin's way up here. The total market cap's finally starting to get out, and the altcoin market's right here. But it was this moment that was the triggering event that got the parabola set in for the altcoin market. To put into context how low the altcoin market was at that time, you can even put a fib on it, that it was only at its 382 Fibonacci retracement level at the time of Bitcoin being way up here and the total market cap breaking through. And as you can see here, for total 3, it sits right at the 702 retracement. So even better than it was then. It was way down here, which I guess you could say has been our launchpad area. But what came after that, obviously, was all the crazy, all the euphoria, all the laser eyes, diamond hands. We all gonna make it. And well, alt season. And well, as I'm recording this now, things have really kind of turned for the altcoin market. Bitcoin was leading the charge all morning. Now suddenly these altcoins are starting to take off similarly to that behavior. And we can see others getting much closer to that 702 and total 3 trying to break out right now as we get this thing going. So if you're just trying to kind of put the whole picture together of how things have played out historically, this kind of gives you a little bit of a context to look at it from. This is what happened the moment we broke out back in 2021. Hopefully that's how it plays out this time. But this was the marker of the parabolic rise beginning. So we'll keep this one brief.
So it's coming, guys. It is coming. That is what she said. All right. So hang on a second here. We're going to go back over to the Bitcoin chart. People are feeling kind of bullish here. People are feeling bullish. Altcoin season's coming. Bitcoin on Binance is sitting at 98,700, 98,800, just barely inside the golden pocket here. So we'll see what happens. We're going to stay on top of it while we're streaming, guys. Maybe we can break 100K while we're streaming. I personally think I laid out 2 options this morning in a video I did, a TA video for JASMY and Bitcoin. And we're either gonna reject hard off of $100,000, and it's gonna take a while to break through there. Maybe come back down to this golden pocket, and it'll be a battle to get through. Or we'll smash through. We'll liquidate a whole crap load of shorts, short squeeze, and shoot up to around $109,000. Right? One of the 2 things is going to happen. Right? So yeah, that's my thoughts on that. All right, what else do we have? Bitcoin Magazine, Chinese court says that Bitcoin and crypto are property, so holding them is legal. We have a very bullish court ruling in China, guys. China has officially deemed Bitcoin and crypto property that cannot be deemed illegal to hold. China is about to get onboarded, guys. Are you freaking ready? All right, what do we got here from Eleanor Tourette? She says, Scoop, talks between the SEC staff and issuers looking to launch a Solana spot ETF are progressing, with the SEC now engaging on S1 applications. According to two people familiar with the matter, these people say there's a good chance we'll see some 19B4 filings from exchanges on behalf of prospective issuers, the next step in the ETF approval process in the coming days. Right now, VanEck, iShares, and Canary Funds have all filed S1 filings for a Solana ETF, while Bitwise announced its intent to file an S1 yesterday. The 19B4 forms would be filed by exchanges such as the CBOE on behalf of issuers, asking the SEC to allow them to list the prospective ETFs. Once the SEC acknowledges receipt of the filings, a 240-day window opens for them to either approve or deny the product. The filing of the 19B4s does not guarantee an approval by the SEC. Indeed, previous 19B4 filings from VanEck and 21 Shares were taken down from the CBOE's website in August, with some industry participants speculating the reason was that the agency under Gary Gensler was not inclined to approve such listings. Now, issuers have indicated that recent engagement from staff, coupled with the incoming pro-crypto administration, is sparking a renewed sense of optimism that a Solana ETF could be approved sometime in 2025. That is for me guaranteed, guys, guaranteed. What else do we have? Beebs, I'm looking at you, buddy. Boom, new KASPA listing, spot listing on Big One Exchange. Very, very bullish. Trading is now available. That's 3 spot listings on 3 exchanges in 3 days for KASPA. Very, very bullish, guys. Very bullish indeed. All right, what else do we got? Watch a Guru says Bitcoin miner Marathon Digital raises $1 billion to purchase more Bitcoin. More Bitcoin being scooped up off of the market. All right, what do we got? Charles Hoskinson, guys. Good old Charles. He appeared on Bloomberg Business News, where he explained some of the intricacies of legislative versus executive actions. Listen in.
We're taking a look at some of the activity in the crypto space, because I think really Bitcoin grabs all of the attention really following the US election. You take a look at some of the gains though we've had across the landscape, and Bitcoin's risen around 46 or 47%, but that line in white there is Cardano, which has actually far outpaced it. It's a gain of nearly 100% since the vote back in early November. So the reason for that, of course, we know Doge, for instance, has really risen. That's the Elon Musk link. The reason Cardano perhaps is rising, or one of the factors being attributed to it, is because the founder of the token, Charles Hoskinson, is report speculation in the markets. Perhaps he's having close talks with some US lawmakers.
May play a role.
But we want to speak with him now. Yeah. Charles Hoskinson, co-founder and CEO of Input Output, and as we said, the founder of the public blockchain platform Cardano. And Charles, we want to get started with these talks. I know you had an Ask Me Anything session the other day saying that you'd had these discussions ongoing. Talk us through exactly what those discussions look like, and who are you speaking to in particular?
Well, there's a lot of things going on right now. It's anytime there's a presidential transition, it's a very complex affair. And actually, the Treasury Secretary has yet to be selected, and they're kind of winnowing down. So that sets all crypto policy. So right now, most of the discussions are with the legislative branch. I'm having dinner tomorrow with Senator Scott, and I've talked to numerous senators who are in the banking sector, basically figuring out how the regulation is going to work. And we've had some discussions with people, transition team, about what they want to do with a crypto committee, and if it's going to be a czar or if it's a commission, and what exact powers and how exactly does that work. And it's not exactly clear in how it's set up on the executive side, but on the legislative side, it's very clear what they want is to pass a law. So there were several attempts already in 2023. FIT 21 was the most successful, which passed the House, but it did not enter the Senate. And in the Senate, there was a bill in 2022 called FIA that was by Senator Lummis and Senator Gillibrand. So right now there's some reconciliation of what does the executive branch want, what does the legislative branch want. What we've been told by the executive branch is Trump has a mandate that he wants America to be the #1 place to found and run a cryptocurrency business. There were also several campaign promises they're trying to connect to, for example, the strategic reserve for Bitcoin concept that also Senator Lummis is a big fan of. And there's a lot of things around asset classification that have to get resolved. The security commodity debate and what power should be reserved for the CFTC and the SEC. So it's still very early days, and we'll know a lot more in 60 to 90 days about how much level of broad industry participation is going to occur at the executive branch side. But we're already in talks with many people on the legislative side, and they're going to move forward as a co-equal branch of government with or without the executive branch to pass a law.
Yeah, Charles, David here, just to maybe pick up on that too. Is there a sense from the senators that you're speaking with that this time around there will be support to get this enshrined into law, not so much say an executive order, which we all know, of course, the former might have more lasting power than the latter?
Yeah, the challenge is not will the law get passed. I think there's a very high probability that that's going to occur. The challenge is what is the scope of it? Is it strictly going to live within the auspices of asset classification, or are they going to be more ambitious and talk about custody, taxes, stable coins, the strategic reserve, the DeFi stuff, the rules for custodial wallets and non-custodial wallets? There's a broad room of things that cryptocurrencies can touch, and the more ambitious you are, the more you can get done. But the problem is the higher the probability it gets jammed up through either some administrative issue, or it just doesn't simply pass committee in the lawmaking process. So I think there's a very strong bet that we're going to resolve the is it a security or not a security issue in 2025 and kind of rein in what's been happening over the last 3 years. It's a little bit more milky when we start talking about complicated things like DeFi, because less and less of the cryptocurrency companies are directly involved in that. And also Wall Street has very strong opinions on these types of things, because in some cases it competes with pre-existing businesses, and it's not clear how to regulate these in a decentralized way. So that's why a commission is helpful, because you can establish a baseline across the entire industry of where have people run into problems. And also you can have that question of normalizing US regulation with international standards like MiCA in Europe, or the ADGM in Abu Dhabi, or what the JFSA has done in Japan. And it's very important that you don't develop US regulation in a sandbox, because cryptocurrencies are intrinsically global. Many cryptocurrency companies, mine included, have employees in dozens of countries. We obviously have lots of users, and Cardano in particular has over 100 countries. Ethereum and Bitcoin are even more. So you can't just think in a US-oriented approach. You have to ask, well, how will these be interoperable with each other? So only through the executive branch can we get that level of international coordination. And then the lawmakers are here to serve, and they're very cooperative with the Trump administration, with the upcoming House and Senate. So I don't think there's going to be an issue getting a law through. It's just a question of how ambitious does that law need to be.
So you're saying that there's going to be some sort of commission established for this? I mean, you talk about sort of what's happened in the last few years, and I think many people would look to that regulation through enforcement actions, which of course comes down to the leadership perhaps of Gary Gensler at the SEC. There's talks of him being replaced. Who do you think is most likely to replace him? And is it the SEC that ends up regulating the vast enterprise of the crypto landscape?
So first off, it's hard to pick a commission or even talk about a concept of, is it a czar, is it a commission, is it a series of recommendations, until the Treasury Secretary has been selected. That's kind of the big thing, because there's some deference to that role, because they're the primary oversight body of all the agencies that we've had problems with historically. Second is the question of, should the Treasury Department decide that, or should it be directly decided by the president? And these are some of the discussions I think are ongoing. And if there was a czar, I would advocate a gentleman like Brian Armstrong, for example, to be that person, and then to build a subcommittee structure where subcommittees basically sit under by topic. So you have the stable coins, the exchanges, DeFi, and these types of things. But again, it's very early days. And so I think it's probably going to get resolved within about 60 to 90 days. As for the question of the SEC, technically Gary Gensler doesn't have to resign, although there's a precedent that when a new president's elected from opposing party, the chairman does resign, or at least offer that resignation for the president to have the ability to pick a replacement. And that's what we saw with Jay Clayton, for example, Gensler's predecessor. And if Gensler follows tradition, he should do that. As for who replaces him, that's a complicated affair, because the most qualified people also potentially have a bit of conflict of interest, because they hold crypto and they're in the cryptocurrency market. And there's a lot of other things that are beyond crypto that are going to be considered with the chair. As you know, Gensler's also had some attempts to weaponize the SEC for environmental policy and other things outside of the scope of crypto. So the grievances go far beyond our industry in terms of the conduct there. So ultimately, these are conversations that would have to be held with the incoming Treasury Secretary and Trump's people, and they're far beyond my pay grade. I have no idea where they're going.
Far beyond your pay grade. All right, Charles, I hope to speak with you again, because I know also you were saying this next 60 to 90 days is going to be really critical for seeing how everything comes together. But that was Charles Hoskinson there, co-founder and CEO of Input Output, and we'll have plenty more ahead.
Regulations are coming, guys. Regulations are coming. And we want regulations, guys. We really do, because regulations is going to do things like eliminate rug pulls and stuff like that, right? We can get rid of that kind of stuff. And it's also going to cause big money to start coming into the space, okay? Institutional money. With regulations comes the feeling of safety when it comes to their money, right? So we need that to happen. James Murphy criticizes SEC over using digital asset securities yet again. With the most anticipated pump win in the U.S. election this season, there are high expectations of clear regulatory policies for crypto under pump. As he had voiced similar sentiments during his campaign, including Gary Gensler's exit from the establishment of the strategic Bitcoin reserve. However, recently, Gary Gensler, in a PLI 56th Annual Institute speech last week, restated that Bitcoin is not a security. He also cleared intent to continue targeting XRP as a security, as he didn't mention it along with Bitcoin, Ether, and stablecoins. Furthermore, the U.S. SEC has also hinted at continuing to argue digital asset securities amidst the appeal in the Second Circuit Court. James Murphy criticizes the SEC. Notably, in the latest X post, James Murphy, Meta Lawman, a crypto lawyer, criticized the SEC for using the term digital asset security yet again in its recent X post. The agency also failed to comply with its recent apology for using the term crypto asset security in lawsuits. The crypto community is increasingly calling out for the dismissal of the long-running Ripple SEC lawsuit. The Ripple CEO, Brad Garlinghouse, also stated that he's expecting a resolution or end to the SEC lawsuit after Pump's win. Besides, lawyer Bill Morgan has noted that the price of XRP is not influenced by Ripple's efforts as seen by long-term investors. While Gensler's departure from the SEC would prove highly beneficial for XRP, Pump's choice for the agency's top spot is also essential. Attorney John Deaton recently discussed his views on two names for the SEC chair, Bob Stebbins and Brad Bondi. He picked Bondi for his views on DeFi and self-custody, stating Brad Bondi, also went further and said that absolutely 100% when you take a DeFi protocol and you couple it with self-custody, the SEC's got no business being involved. There is no implication of securities laws. That is what we need. There is one thing that I would say, guys, as a caveat before I continue on, is that when Gary Gensler was first appointed to the SEC, everyone was as bullish then on Gary being approved, being named the chair of the SEC, as they are now with a new head coming in. Everyone was bullish. And the reason for that was because Gary was teaching classes at MIT about crypto and was speaking very positively about it, right? And then as soon as he came into power at the SEC, he did a complete 180 and started viciously attacking crypto. So guys, I would say, I'm not saying that's going to happen again, but I am saying that this is very familiar to me, being someone who was around back then, that everyone was feeling just as bullish about Gary being appointed at the SEC as they're feeling about a new person coming in. Everyone thought Gary was going to be pro-crypto, and he turned out to be the opposite, right? So always make sure you have that air of caution, right? In the latest X post, Ripple CLO Stuart Alderati had outlined the table stakes for crypto in mind. He underscored that he trusts the transition team to make the right call with these table stakes for crypto in mind. He noted that the transition team would focus on addressing non-fraud crypto legislation, securing commitments from commissioners Ueda and Pierce, collaborating with financial regulators and Congress to clear crypto clear rules, renouncing the 2018 Hinman speech and the 2019 framework, ensuring transparency around the FOIA process, and restoring public trust by addressing past issues with the SEC. Now, here's another interesting thing about Gary. Now, he's stepping down, okay? So whoever's coming in, you have to remember that right now, there are a lot of FOIA requests, Freedom of Information Act requests, that are currently in for the SEC. People want the documents and the communications between Gary Gensler and Sam Bankman-Fried at FTX, and Gary has refused to turn those documents over. Congress wants that stuff. So whoever's coming in is going to most likely hand those documents over, not only to the FOIA request, but to Congress. There's a very strong possibility people are not talking about here, and it's that Gary Gensler could very well find himself in prison if the documents that are handed over implicate him that he was a willing participant in the collapse of FTX, or that he was conspiring to allow FTX to have a monopoly on the market, like they tried to do with Prometheum, right? So Gary may still be in a lot of legal trouble at the end of the day. Keep that in mind, guys. Keep that in mind. All right, what else do we got? We'll continue off of that with this Ripple article. Ripple's legal director discusses future expectations for the crypto market. So what do we got here? The cryptocurrency market eagerly anticipates significant news as Bitcoin rises. It's at 98,200, 300 right now. Bitcoin rises has not yet translated into gains for the altcoins. These times symbolize the calm before a major surge. Many cryptocurrencies, which are still tethered to BTC, peak prices of around $70,000 are awaiting substantial movements. In this context, XRP coin stands out as potentially advantageous asset. Recently, Ripple's legal director provided insights regarding Gary Gensler's resignation, which the crypto community is watching closely. As one of the largest crypto communities in the country, Ripple's expectations and stance on the matter are crucial, sparking excitement about the future of cryptocurrency. So Stuart Alderati is just outlining here that whoever is taking Gary Gensler's place is going to be very, very crucial, very important. As I already highlighted, that everyone was bullish on Gary Gensler, and then Gary Gensler screwed us, right? So XRP coin price prediction. XRP coin continues to close above $1, is quite positive. Depending on the BTC price fluctuation, supporting levels might be tested. However, if the expectation voiced by Ripple's legal director materialize, XRP could reach peaks of $1.35 coming soon. And it's looking more and more like that's going to happen as XRP continues to pump off the news of Gary Gensler's departure. You'll love to see it. All right, what else do we got? CNBC on MicroStrategy. Sell it all. What the hell are they talking about?
MicroStrategy soaring 10% for its third straight day of double-digit gains, trading now at record highs. The stock benefiting from the post-election crypto surge, having more than doubled since then. But the chart master thinks the top could be in. Carter Worth is out with a note today saying, directly, pointedly, sell it all. Carter, what are you seeing?
Yeah, I mean, look, this is a very unusual circumstance. And before we look at the charts, we know that it has a relationship with Bitcoin, but therein is the issue. Here's a 5-year comparative chart. Just to think, since the August low, that was the low for the S&P, the low for Apple and NASDAQ. Since the August low, this stock is up 5x Bitcoin has simply doubled. It's diverging to the point where, regardless of what it is, it's no longer tethered to what is the story, apparently, Bitcoin. But let's look at two charts of MicroStrategy. Here is a 5-year chart, and it's log scale because you wouldn't be able to see it if it was arithmetic, how much it's moved. Second and final chart is with the 150-day moving average, the smoothing mechanism, and it is basically as far above trend as you're going to get. And so, listen, steep and uncorrected can always get steeper, but parabolas, parabolic things typically end the same way, which is out of nowhere you get a shocking drop in gap. And I would say that's the kind of thing that happens here and now.
Is there a support level for MicroStrategy?
Well, not particularly, right? When you're literally, I mean, here's the expression: it's going up and to the left. And think about every day you got to put the bar out to the right when you have a bar chart. It's literally going to fall in on itself, so to speak. And you know, I don't know what's driving it. Perhaps you all have talked about that or have the answer. But you know, one client, and this is a bit.
So I just wanted to stop it there real quick, guys, to point something out. So this gentleman just said that he's trying to apply TradFi metrics to what's going on with MicroStrategy right now, not knowing that he just said himself, he doesn't know what's behind it, right? He doesn't know, but yet he's predicting it's going to fall. You see how these guys will make price predictions and predict that things are going to go a certain way, not even knowing why it's pumping in the first place, right? You cannot apply TradFi metrics to the price action and the price personality of digital assets, Bitcoin, crypto. You can't do it, right? I mean, it could see a correction, yes, but I just, coming from a guy who's giving a price prediction and then in the same breath says, I don't know what's driving the price, that's a problem. Why would you listen to someone like that?
Big institutional client, he heard this literally: the more expensive the stock gets relative to Bitcoin, the more money they can raise and then buy more Bitcoin, like a flywheel effect. That's insane.
Before we let you go, Carter, Nvidia, what do you see here?
Yeah, well, it's a non-event, it turns out. And obviously, in a way, that's important because it's not so much if it had done yet another good quarter, if it had missed and done bad things post-trade. I would point out, and this is important at least by my work, here is a 1-year chart of Nvidia, and you'll see two moving averages. There's the smoothing mechanism, 150-day, and the stock has touched it to the penny 3 times, hasn't touched the 200-day once.
I don't know. You can't apply TradFi rules to digital assets. It just doesn't work. It just doesn't work. What do we got here? Another big, fat, juicy L for Gary Gensler and the SEC as he walks out the door. Dealer rule has been struck down. The SEC exceeded its statutory authority. Huge win for the entire industry. Blockchain Association and Crypto Free TX. So another loss for look at this picture. Analysis. A plaintiff provided several independent reasons that the dealer rule violates the APA, requiring the court to vacate or set aside the rule. Gary Gensler, what do we got here? Plaintiffs first argued that the dealer rule constitutes unlawful agency rulemaking because it exceeds the SEC's statutory authority to regulate securities dealers. They specifically argued that the SEC, by way of the rule, erroneously expand the meaning of dealer beyond what the statutory text, structure, or context is. So Gary was trying to include DeFi plays and DeFi exchanges and stuff like that into the dealer rule and screw us over. Well, guess what? A court just ruled against him. The rule has been struck down. Gary takes another bit of egg all over his face before he walks out the door. Speaking of Gary, let's get into the official announcement here, guys. All right, so SEC Chair Gary Gensler to depart agency on January 20th. Gensler implemented reforms to enhance efficiency, resiliency, and integrity in the U.S. capital markets. This is obviously going to be biased towards Gary because it is from the SEC itself. Gary probably wrote it himself, right? The SEC Commission today announced that the 33rd chair, Gary Gensler, will step down from the commission effective 12 p.m. on January 20th, 2025. Chair Gensler began his tenure in April of 2021. Guys, this could have been such a bullish thing. This man came in from MIT teaching classes about crypto, and everyone was excited about what he was going to be able to do for the space. Unfortunately, he took the route of corruption and taking money and stuff from Elizabeth Warren and decided to go the opposite route. Now, Gary Gensler's name will be synonymous going down in history with the making digital asset adoption in the United States a mockery. He will go down as a tyrant. He will go down in history as a footnote, a joke, a clown, and a treasonous coward, in my opinion, right? So very, very happy to see Gary Gensler walking out the door. Don't let the door hit you on the way out, brother. What else do we got here? U.S. Bitcoin ETF assets break $100 billion. The United States Bitcoin Exchange Traded Fund broke $100 billion in net assets for the first time on November 21st, according to data from Bloomberg Intelligence. Bitcoin has dominated the ETF landscape since spot Bitcoin ETFs launched on January. Investor interest accelerated after crypto-friendly President-elect Donald Trump prevailed on November 5th in the U.S. election. Collectively, BTC ETFs now manage approximately $104 billion. They're now on track to surpass gold ETFs in net assets, which together hold approximately $120 billion in assets under management as of November 21st, according to Bitcoin Archive. Bitcoin ETFs are now 97% of the way to surpassing Satoshi as the biggest holder and 82% of the way to passing gold's ETFs. Eric Balchinian, at ETF analyst for Bloomberg Intelligence, said in a November 21st post on X platform. BlackRock's iShares Bitcoin Trust leads the pack, pulling $30 billion in net inflows since January, according to Bloomberg data. Fidelity-Wise Origin Bitcoin Fund, or FBTC, has been the second most popular Bitcoin ETF, seeing inflows of more than $11 billion so far this year, per Bloomberg. The crypto market surged following Pump's victory in the U.S. presidential election, as many believers believe in his win will benefit the industry. Spot BTC traded at more than $96,000 as of November 21st. Sorry, it's now at $98,200. Since the start of 2024, according to it's up over 120% since the start of 2024. November 6th was IBIT's biggest day of volume as investors flocked to cryptocurrencies after Pump's election win. Balchinian said on November 6th, and on November 7th, the IBIT clocked a 1.1 billion in inflows, reclaiming inflow status after 2 consecutive days of outflows, totaling 113.3 million, according to Farside data. Very, very nice, guys. BTC is expected to top somewhere between $100,000 and $150,000 per coin. BlackRock's IBIT now holds more assets than the asset manager gold ETF, despite the launching in January. And investors are turning towards gold and BTC in a so-called debasement trade as they brace for catastrophic scenario. Amid rising geopolitical tensions, according to an October 3rd report. So very, very interesting there. BTC's taking over, guys. Taking over. All right. What else do we got? Let's check in for you HBAR fans out there, my HBAR community. Dell VP, HBAR fixed dollar fees make it the ultimate blockchain for enterprise.
Or to underscore something Greg said, is the fees for HBAR are denominated in dollars. I'm going to repeat that, denominated dollars in fixed. So if any of you have tried to transact on Ethereum or Bitcoin, you know that the transaction fees are gas fees can vary wildly based on network congestion. If you're running a business or you're running a high throughput, high transaction service, that's really difficult to deal with. You don't know how much your business is going to cost you to run day by day. So one of the unique things about Hedera that we're seeing being adopted by use cases like stable coins or CDBCs that are going to be high throughput is being powered or enabled by the fact that your transaction costs are fixed and they're low.
And that is certainly a characteristic of the governance model and the decisions that were put forth for Hedera that differentiates itself from many other public blockchains, because to the extent that gas fees increase 900%, which they have on other networks, outside of the control of an individual organization, because maybe there's a meme coin craze or an NFT drop, that creates the network, that makes the network effectively unoperable for a specific use case at any given point in time.
Which is the problem.
As a longtime product manager and GM of various products, variable costs like that become the bane of your business case. And, a lot of times enterprise or use cases that may come, to the forefront for enterprises may even mask the cryptocurrency aspect of the service. It's transparent to the end customer, maybe a SaaS service. But from a product build perspective, that variability and thinking about how many dollars to put aside to pay your tariffs, basically at the end is a highly challenging issue. So when we looked at why we wanted to, when we joined Hedera, it's because we saw them as more of a enterprise-oriented sort of you could build products on type protocol, and the variability, is put aside. The transaction rate growth was meant to be high. It starts to become more of a dependable service. And so that's what I mean when we talk about getting boring. It can be predictable, not highly variable.
And I think the enterprise.
That's the problem that Ethereum has, guys. That is the problem that Ethereum has. Let's get into this article here. Bitcoin hits 97K amid extreme greed in market sentiment. It's 97,900 right now. So Bitcoin remains bullish with its price hovering above $97,000 as the market sentiment has reached the extreme greed zone. In an X post on Thursday, an analytical platform, CryptoRank, pointed out that the top 10 cryptocurrencies show both growth and decline. Bitcoin's dominance has been on the rise, currently at 57.65, and an increase of 2.02%. According to platform findings, the price of Bitcoin increased 4.45% over the last 24 hours. This growth has boosted the cryptocurrency market capitalization to $3.35 trillion, a 2.28% rise. The Fear and Greed Index and Sentiment Indicator has risen to 82, indicating the investors' sentiment are gradually shifting towards optimism. And if we actually go over to the, let's go check out the Bitcoin dominance right now, actually, guys. Let's go check that out. So the dollar continues to stay green, waiting for a rollover on the DXY. And checking out Bitcoin dominance. Yeah, see, it continues to, it's 61.03% right now, guys. So until this rolls over, altcoins are not really going to start to run. Let's check out the latest from the Nvidia earnings today.
Ara is the Bank of America Securities Senior Semiconductors Analyst. What say you, sir? What do you think? What do you think of last night's numbers?
Yeah, good morning. I think that, before we look at last night's numbers, let's look at what they actually reported and the track record that they have set. So this is not a small company. This is one of the largest, in fact, the largest company. And it just put up a quarter where sales grew 94% and earnings grew over 100%. And they're guiding to a quarter where sales, yes, they're slowing down, but slowing down to a rate of over 70%. And when I look at what they are able to accomplish next year, we think they can grow over 50%. And I was just looking at the other, so-called Max 7. Nvidia will probably grow 4 or 5 times that growth rate next year, and it's trading at less than 1 times earnings growth, whereas the average of those companies is trading at over 2 times earnings growth. So we think the numbers are exceptionally strong, but you're right that they were not able to come close to the so-called whisper expectations. I think part of it is they are just at the start of ramping their new Blackwell product. Supply is just starting to get going. But if I look at the usual range of beats they have versus their guidance, I think that'll probably get us pretty close to where people were expecting the numbers to come in. So I'm not worried. I think this is just quarterly noise, and this is to be expected in the growing pains of whenever they're launching a new product.
So,
the key is
so
that the demand
what do you think the disappointment is here then?
Sorry, can you say that again?
I said, what do you think the disappointment is here? I mean, there was
I think the disappointment is that, yeah, the supply chain, is scrutinized very closely. It's followed by a lot of people. And every time the company reports, expectations continue to build up naturally for this size and what the stock has done. But there are always constraints when it comes to not just getting the supply, but actually building the products, getting them to customers. And what we have seen from Nvidia over the last 2 years is that they are able to beat their own guidance by $2 to $2.5 billion consistently. Last time they guided $32.5 billion, and they reported $35 billion. So that's why I'm not surprised to see them not exactly come to the high end of where the whisper expectations are. But if I look at the usual range of beats they have, we will come pretty close, I think, once they actually report the quarter. So I think this is more a case of expectations in a transitions quarter. It's nothing to do with the long-term fundamentals of the company.
And your sense about this Blackwell chip is it's just going to knock it out of the park, or you think it's going to? Is there anybody even in the vicinity competitively at this point?
No, I think they lead the pack for the reason that delivering this product is more than a chip, right? You have to first of all be able to put 72 of them in a single rack. You have to connect it with very high-speed optical and copper interconnects. Then you have to have a system and software level approach. Then you need millions of developers who know how to do something with it. And then you need to have a whole range of relationships and not only the supply chain, but with relationships with the enterprises, with the cloud companies. And I think that is unparalleled. The other thing to keep in mind is they are in an industry, large language models, where the technology is changing several times a year, right? And their ability to deliver a new product cycle, they have accelerated from 2 years to 1 year. Even that is not sufficient. So we think there's another few years of build out that is left to support this rapidly growing industry.
I agree, guys. I'm looking forward personally to some sort of a collaboration between Nvidia and JASMY in the future, guys. The world's largest GPU cloud creator and the world's largest GPU manufacturer. It only makes sense that they would get on the same road at the same time at some point. All right, let's get into the chat. William in the house. What's up, buddy? Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Guys, as always, please make sure you hit the like and subscribe to the channel. Helps the channel grow. We're trying to push up to that 10K subscriber count, but we need your help to get there. It'd be greatly appreciated, and it's absolutely free. It doesn't cost you anything to do, so it means a lot. WF Capital in the house. What's up, brother? Holy moly cannoli. Big Kev, what's up, buddy? Ready for the alpha. Hey, Rob, hope you're doing well. Let's go, Crypto Fam. I'm doing good. You know what? I'm very content in life right now, guys. I'm very content in life. I don't have any complaints. Things are about to get exciting. Batlander, what's up, man? What a great day. Goodbye, Gary. Yes. Joe. Hey, Satoshi. Guys, that's an inside joke, guys, from over on the Patreon. We do live Zoom calls every day as a group, every single day over on the Patreon. So get over there, guys, and join. We actually have a holiday. Patreon has actually offered a holiday 10% off for joining the Patreon for the next 5 weeks. So get in now while you can and get your discounted entry. But anyway, guys, yes. There's high suspicion that I am Satoshi over on the Patreon. It's a running joke over there. Jetpack, what's up, brother? Good to see you, man. Shane, yo, Crypto Future Pump time. Let's go. To Gary Gensler now. hey. Goodbye. Stefan, what's up, man? Something pumping out of my shirt. Nice. 2021. Coinbase listed Floki. Yeah, we covered that. I think we covered that yesterday or the day before. Amon, what's up, buddy? Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Yes, missing you already, Gare Bear. Radium, yep. I am a fan of Radium over on Solana. Bruno, Tron founder buys 6 million banana artwork. That's crazy. Yeah, he probably just took it from his community, though. Gold standard digital assets, Cynthia Lummis. Oh, yeah. BTC coming for 100K during the stream. Yes, man, that would be nice. We did come back. We did come inside the golden pocket, though. That's what she said. 100K on Crow. Did Crow register it at 100K? I don't know how accurate that is. Boomer's in the house. What's up, man? Good to see you, brother. I don't know, Rob. 100K might not be that much of a fight. I mean, it could. I mean, it's possible, but I don't know. I just don't think it's going to be that easy to break through 100K. I don't think it's going to be like a hot knife through butter. Brian, what's up, buddy? Type AI is doing pretty good. Is Type AI doing good? Guys, Type AI is one of our babies here on the channel, one of our early calls that we made. And we made a lot of money on Type AI, a lot of money on it. If you want to get in on our calls, guys, if you want to get in on swing trades and stuff, again, get over to the Patreon. It's 10% off right now. Yeah, we made a small fortune on Type AI. Yeah, it's up 30% today. Very nice. Very nice. Did they get any? Have they gotten any more listings lately? Still just on Uniswap. Hey, wait till this bad boy starts getting some listings, man. Break 100K while streaming. Okay, Satoshi. Let's go. Dumb Money. What's up, man? Did anything finally happen to JASMY, or is this just about? It's about a lot of things, man. And yeah, I did a JASMY video this morning covering some of the latest JASMY news. So definitely check that out as well. Funky. Wowzers, my bonk pick played out. Love this pump. Nice. Congratulations, brother. What's bonk doing today? Let's have a look at bonk. Oh, yeah, it's up 5.3%. 5.3. Yeah, I dig it. I dig it. Big Kev, JASMY was added to Korea's biggest exchange. Yes, it was. I covered that yesterday. Yep. Upbit Korea has over 9 million users, and JASMY was just listed there yesterday. So, Balaclav man made it again. Good to see you, man. Good to see you, brother. That's crazy, Gary. I agree, brother. I agree. A sale out 100K BTC possible. 98,000, $18. Yep. Longing on JASMY, hoping comes pump 25. Give me some. Yeah, you know what, man? Not financial advice. I can't tell you what to do with your money, guys. But putting it along on JASMY where it is now might not be a terrible idea. But you do you, boo-boo. I'm not telling you what to do with your money, right? JASMY, $1, October 2025. Mark my words. I like it. I like it. Oscar, what's up, brother? Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Magic Power's in the house. Angela's here. Angelo's here. JASMY will have its time. People need to stop fighting the project. Yes. Yes, the patient will make money. Guys, there's never been a truer statement than crypto is the transfer of wealth from the inpatient to the patient. You have to decide which one you are, right? Bonk was down 14% at the time I bought last. Nice. So you're up bigly. Very, very bigly. That's awesome, Funky. That is awesome. Guys, also, make sure you're hitting that subscribe button. Let's get this channel growing. Let's get it going. Let's get to 10K, guys. Jack stacked and fanny packed. Let's go. Let's go. All right, guys, that's the news. That's the chat. Make sure you get over to the Patreon, guys. Again, schedule your one-on-ones with me. Join our group Zoom calls. Let's get your exit strategy in place. Let's get your profit taking in place. Let's get your portfolio structured. 10% off holiday sale for the next 5 weeks. Do not miss out. Do I think JASMY will go to 1.7? No, I don't. I honestly don't think so. Not unless something bad happens with Bitcoin. Why JASMY not on OKX? I don't have any idea why it's not on OKX. Is it not on OKX? One moment. I'm looking for OKX here. Oh, look at that. It's not on OKX. Not that I can find. It's on everywhere except OKX. That's interesting. But they did just get a new listing yesterday as well. Two listings. They got Upbit and they got another one, smaller one. So, yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. That's a good question. I didn't know that. Maybe we'll have to bug them about listing it. But I'm not a big fan of OKX anyway. All right, guys. Again, get over to the Patreon. 10% off. Get over there now. Schedule your one-on-ones. Join our group Zoom calls. I will see you guys this evening, 8 o'clock Central. We're here 7 days a week, 2 live streams every day, 1 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Central. I'll see you guys over there. I will be live over on the Patreon very, very soon, guys, shortly. So get over there before I go live. We got some stuff to talk about. Deuces.